Wait a minute. No. Looks like I hit the wrong button over here again. Okay. As shown on the title, this is Mario Kart Tour stream and me talking about it. Okay. And somebody talking in the next room over. And my squeaky chair. Yay, fun already. Okay, as some may have noticed that earlier today, though, Nintendo did announce the ending of Mario Kart Tour is nearly here, though. Pretty much, more or less, as figured, though. When was it? 2.5 years ago, I think it was. Though they were ending on adding new tracks / tours. Though they did eventually added a few ATV type cars that was based on Mario Kart World and some of the characters, which is Mechanic Mario. I've been playing this game though since it was in beta. And let's see if I can remember which one of my buttons this is. And to prove it, I'm going to figure out which one of these things I can use. It's like, I should have thought about that. Border, browser. Me can't read well. It's browser, not Bowser. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do this here. Dun, 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 dun. Is hit the wrong button. Boop. Ah, it went blank. Oh no, so scary though. Of course, the beta is on my other device though, so can't show it on there. Blink. Okay, here it goes. So instead, I did a screenshot of it though. Yay, that definitely proves I was there. But yeah, before anybody else tries to jump in though, I've been playing it since beta though, which didn't last too long though. It was alright at the time though. And this might look like a typical Mario Kart logo, except for if you used to zoom in, you can see the beta logo on it though. And it's still in my other phone right now too though. It did have some of the features that they retained over though, but like I said, it was alright when it was in beta though. It didn't last as long, of course, as you expected beta testing though. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to switch back to game. Well, actually, back to my screen here. You can see other Pokemon-related games also listed in here, though. I need to get the updated version of the Gaming Hub for Samsung, though, because apparently I was in beta testing for that, and they kept adding some little nuances there, as you can see. As well as you can see, though, there is the hot streak that they added and so forth, though, as well as how well are you up on the listing. Now, because I originally played it on my Note 9 there, the time has been split between the two, so I can't show you the time on the other device because I transferred. I have it on the S22 Ultra instead, so therefore it's not listed on my phone anymore, my Note 9. So I'm going to have to use your imagination that I put in a few hundred hours in there. When I did get this device, though, as you can see down here, though, vaguely, March 27, 2022, though, is when I when I got it on this device. And as you can see, though, that the popularity was already waning past the 32 weeks there, going as high as 118,000 down to 80. You can already tell people were already on their way out of playing this, though, whenever this year came around, though, because this was even before it started. Man, I like this chart. So right now, approximately 32,000 is playing. And because I don't have an update to this Gaming Hub, though, I don't have this listing. But as you can see right here, as well as you can possibly, though, I'll make a screenshot of this later. At least 900, probably total there if I was to add in the Note 9. Almost 600 hours on Mario Kart on the S22 Ultra. Played every day as indicated by my blue little marker there. It's not as high as it though, but if I was able to zoom this though, you could definitely see though that it's only for a few minutes though, because what I do, I play the daily track and maybe some additional tracks so equal up to maybe about 10 minutes. That's pretty much it. But I do play every day, as indicated by the fact that there's the little blue dots there. I'm saying for last week though, I played nearly an hour's worth. But yeah, 600 hours plus. Yeesh. One moment, I gotta. I wish it did give the option there of being in landscape for the majority of the game, but should be glad by the fact though. I might have to update it though. Should be glad by the fact that you can do landscape at all in this game. Let me stretch this down a bit so it's going to look a little distorted. They didn't introduce landscape, I think, until a year and a half later. Oh, this is the fun part. Now, like I said, though, that the end of the tour is coming in September. They already disable you being able to purchase the gold pass. Anybody who has a gold pass there will continue to get the benefits, though. So even if you're upset at Nintendo there and wanting to cancel said pass there, it's too late there. Ha 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 ha. You would have to. And that's the thing about these types of gotcha games. Even if a game's not a gotcha game, whenever you play on a mobile game and you have the option to buy things, currencies, characters, whatever, please note though that majority of the times when it comes down to online games, there's always going to be that chance of them being closed. But people like to act surprised. Man, my video is skipping. At least when I'm watching this playback live. But anyways, this is nothing new. This happens. I hate to say it, but people will have to hear it though. It happens all the time. You could be playing a game. It's fun. It's not one of those cheesy, crummy games though, and it goes. To be fair though, there are some companies that decide to pull the plug because they want to though, and they don't give you a heads up. Some games do give you a heads up. I was looking at Reddit earlier though, and somebody thought it was going to be gone last year though. People waited, and nothing happened. But yeah, now I've obviously seen people complaining because that's pretty much expected nowadays, saying that they wanted partial or full refund. Once again, this is a mobile game, gotcha mechanics, blah blah, the typical stuff though. You should expect these things. Don't act surprised. The moment you play the game, though, there's always that chance of it going bye bye, regardless of how long it lasts. So that means Pokemon Go could also be gone. Hopefully not anytime soon, though, because it's at least getting up to date and there's always that thing going on. But as for Mario Kart Tour, though, yeah, it's expected, though. Although, I think it's funny, though, with those people complaining about needing their money back, though. That'd be like me going to my favorite fast food joint there and demanding a full refund of all the money I ever spent there. Well, first of all, they don't have a ledger of everybody who ever came by, though, and how much food and money that they spent and bought. Second of all, though, the money's already been spent, though, because maintaining items and such, in this case, servers and such, as well as paying the people who helped bring the game together. And I think my soda's flat. Ugh. Now, I do bring up this thing though about another Nintendo game. While I'm making more adjustments to my screen here, because apparently I forgot to make some editing here, so you can see how much time I got. I think it was last year or so, almost a year now. Nintendo went ahead and closed the curtain on their other game, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Basically, just like this, though, just a mobile version of a popular franchise. So, around the same time, maybe not precisely exactly, but around the same time, EA was also closing the curtain on their more or less big hit of Simpsons Tapped Out there. I want to say it's a sandbox game, but it's like if you take the concept of Sim City, but throw elements of Simpsons and daily stuff there too. Well, here's the thing though: while both games were on their way to be closed down, Nintendo, kind of surprisingly, because it's not often, if at all, that companies do it though, did give people a heads up though, in which they did made an offline version of Animal Crossing. Though all you have to do is just connect your account though, and you'll be able to retain pretty much everything that you had prior. That will just move over though, except for the functionality of online meeting within people's towns and premium currency would have been swapped and or removed. However, though, while you could get the game for a lesser price before the full price took effect, though, that if you were unfortunate uh, and didn't do all that, though, you can still technically get the game, but you probably won't get your information transfer over though, because they do give you like about a week or two leeway though before any information in their little server so it gets erased because it's basically a temporary quote bridge. If you were to play the game now, you can get pretty much everything that was there during the online phase, except for the crossovers of Hello Kitty and the Let's Go Eevee. And my connection is a little shoddy though, so let's see how long this lasts. Now, going back to Simpsons Tapped Out around the same time though, they didn't like the fact that it was getting closed as well. I can't understand that though, because like I said, if anybody plays SimCity though, they would understand how long it takes to craft their city layout and little fun characters and such. Because it was basically a collecting game of characters as well. You can see them interacting more or less though. You get little dailies there. Well, the problem is with EA being EA, as expected though, but because like I said, this is a rare thing. There was no offline option for them though. So once it gets pulled plug there, it gone. I know there were some people there that probably made some fan servers that could try to salvage it, probably salvage it too. I don't know, but there was maybe possibly a Simpsons Tapped Out group on Facebook though, and when they seen that, predictably, at least to me though, that some did get upset after they found out Nintendo was introducing an offline version of Pocket Cam and said, "EA, why can't you do this?" Well, first of all, you're asking the wrong company. I mean, it's the right company, but they're not the company that's going to save you all. So, and I would know because I also played Simpsons Tapped Out, but only for the first 2 years. So when it came time though, EA's like, "Well, thanks for playing, giving us money." Once again, as expected, it is a quote free to play, or the way Nintendo wants it though, free to start a game with some paid elements. Also, once again, it go bye bye. Everything else that you pay for went bye bye too. I understand it though because you spend money though, but when you think about other products that you buy in the store with money, oh no, my favorite grocery store is closing down. I better demand all the money I ever spent to them. Now, since the games, both of them though, did lasted more than a year though, understandable though. But at least they more or less gave a heads up though, even if one was able to allow you to play on the offline variant though. But it's still fair, even if somebody doesn't like it though. Now there are some games though that don't give you heads up. They pull the plug, maybe because they can't keep up with it. You know, the actual reasonable excuse. And there's some that's just like, "Hey, I took your money. Thanks, suckers." Oh, by the way, before I completely leave, here's some computer viruses because I was evil all along. And anyways, going back to Mario Kart Tour, which is taking a sweet time though. Not the best of internet connection though, but not the worst. Uh, upon hearing the news of Mario Kart Tour sunsetting, especially since it's a track with Sunset Hill, people was hoping that they could get an offline version. But the thing is, if you used to go to the website at the time, though, it did say, as of now, there is no plans for an offline version. Of course, once again, predictably, at least for me again, People would get upset at this though and still demand a full refund. I would explain why this is not going to be possible though, because you would have to demand everybody who worked on it to give them back the money times however many people actually did play though. And the funny part is those people, some of the people that was demanding it though, I put quotes because some might actually not really be demanding it. They might be just going with the flow. Only played for like a couple of years and decided, oh, now's the time. Yeah, kind of like the guy who wants to sue was Illumination for a movie that was similar to his own, but it was like years after the fact. Do it now and then. But anyways, however, while a couple of tour tracks that were made for specifically tour, not counting the modes and such, while there's at least one or two, like the part of pipelines there, is currently, as of this recording, not going to be available or isn't available in like any Mario Kart games, though, since it was out, which probably only be 8 Deluxe, and World. The majority of tracks from Tour, mostly the ones that are based in the real world location, like England, New York, I think it was like South Korea in there too. Anyways, the real world locations, you can still actually play those in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So those are not lost to time and space, though. The only difference is, though, those are more stylized a little bit to fit in with the graphics for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So the only thing you'll be missing out is certain minor little details from Tour, which is toned down to fit the compatibility of the mobile devices, though, which is why they're mostly brightly colored and not as detailed. So you can't really fully expect ooh and ah from weather effects like the puddles there. Yeah, there's puddles of water on the ground and such, but not to the extent of the Switch. Now there are some variants of Rainbow Road, the Super Nintendo one, that is in Tour that was modified for the what they call the remix track mode. Basically, you take your track that you might be familiar with though, and you throw some interesting elements there. Now, there are some modes there that Tour did introduce and never was in any prior kart game. So, and one of them was basically the reverse track. Not to be confused with mirror track, which is basically the tracks, but reverse like a reflection. Though these tracks are basically you driving on the tracks backwards, not you driving backwards, but I'm saying like the finish line is the ending line, like you expect, though. But instead of moving in the same direction you always have, you go the other way though. There we go. I need to reduce the size of that too. I'm still making some edits here. Now there are some tracks out that might be wondering, well, how am I supposed to get up this hill there? This is like a one-way jump, this and that. Some tracks do have the ability to go up said hills, though, because they do have some elements like the fans, gliders, ramps, and other things. Though. Now, in some small percentage, I was kind of hoping though that they would incorporate this in World before World came out, though, but they didn't. So I'm going to make some adjustments here. Why is? Hold on, it's going to disappear for a moment. My screen in my well recording program is a little off. It's not aligned. That's what's throwing me off, though. Boop. Unfortunately for me, though, I do not collect every character, though. And that's another thing, though. Oh, by the way, apparently you'll be able to get, if you're not the paying kind, you should be able to get some of the features that was behind the quote paywall of the gold track. So, Ricky's on yourself. Well, you do. I did bad because I was doing some other things. So, yay, 18th place. I'm not sure how that is. What? I swear there might be somebody cheating though. Hey, can't say I never went first place though. Yay, rubies! They're going to start throwing all the premium currency though. Not that it really matters though. Okay, time for the end of service notification. I don't know if I can read this or not. Again, I will actually read it here. Long ago in the Okay, so once again, sorry for the smallness there. I did not set up a screen. Can I use? Do I have a screen that I can use to? Okay, just a heads up. This might cut off the video. I'm going to do some little tweaking here and there. Okay, so far so good. Okay, there we go. I just want to make a screen that's a little bit wider so we can see what's going on instead of like squinting. Like, what does that say? Break up the microscope. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to enlarge it this way. There we go. Okay, I want to at least. So how far up can I get on this? Yeah. Let's do it this way. I feel like I got to sneeze, by the way. Not that it's really important, but. Okay, long laundry list here. Service for the Mario Kart Tour for smart devices will come to an end as of September 30th, 2026, Wednesday, 1 a.m. We sincerely thank for the many players who loved and supported the games. The thing is kind of funny, though, is that there were some people that didn't really care for Tour because they wanted a big mainline game, though, that's on consoles there, which is kind of funny, though, because if you just look at the Mario Kart main games, which is mostly nearly all of them, not counting for the real Mario Kart Tour toys there. And now suddenly they became sad and such. I'm talking about the ones that specifically just didn't care for it to begin with, not the ones who did care for it, took a break, extended break, so and then like, eh. In conjunction with the end of service, though, we have ended the sales of rupee sales starting today. Though, note that they can only be used in a Spotlight shop, Me Racing Suit shop, and Coin West until service ends. In conjunction with this end of service, though, we have implemented the following for the Gold Pass. So regarding new subscriptions, we have stopped accepting them. I'm not going to repeat the date, just say today. Regarding renewals, we also have stopped that for today. Regarding the subscribers, though, anybody who's subscribed, though, as of today, though, will continue getting the benefits of the exceptions of continuous subscription, which means you don't have to worry about getting charged anymore, though, because they're not charging you anymore. The benefits for all characters, though, starting with the vacation tour next month, there, until it ends, so everybody gets the benefit of the Gold Pass. Oh, excuse me. Only 3 times I've ever do the Gold Pass, though. One time when it was officially out. The second time because I forgot to cancel it. Nothing against it though. I was just doing the pass for the first time just to say, hey, I did that though. And one recently. Please note for details, you got to tap your settings though and get all that stuff though. We'll be holding a special event though during each tour until the end of the service, though, such as the login bonus there, where you can get the high-end tickets, the end caps, and rubies. Now, I did finally, well, not finally, but I did manage to get several gliders and other parts that are kind of capped out. Event challenges, which you can gold pipes and complete cards, will be held each tour there. Ooh. The shops, I'm going to say though, we will change it. We'll be changing the number of rubies needed for each one though. Ah, so drivers will be basically 105 though. The carts and gliders will be 70 though. The Mii's will also be reduced by 30. You can check out the following player records for a set period, though, even after the service ends. So that's the one thing about this, though, is that you can see your personal records. So, am I done? And it's like, oh, that's how good or how bad I am, though. You can also check out the stats. You can check out your ranking, though. Uh, okay, on the official X account, though, Twitter. A report looking back on everything that's happened since the start service. Well, it's now until now will be released, though. We'll notify you about that during the later date, though. So once again, we appreciate our deepest gratitude to all the tour players. Although there's not much time left, we hope that you continue playing tour, though. And that's what it says, zoomed in. Now, I do got to admit, though, the last Mario versus the Luigi there, I swear, it seemed like there were some characters like I will pick this character because the last time though that character was picked though, or the last two times or more times if they repeatedly did that though, and I kept losing. I thought, oh maybe I can get Luigi because he won last time. No, nah. Ugh. And that's the last of the flat soda. I don't think the cherry flavor really helps it any. But anyways, I dropped my other phone and I'm using it as a secondary screen. Anyways, now I do have a listing of pretty much every track that was introduced whenever, well, a new tour at the time was introduced there. Unlike some YouTube channels that would done something similar and just stopped doing it. I know Game Explain would have done something like that, though I'm not sure how they were able to split the sound and the music. Okay, I need to do something real quick on my secondary screen over here. I gotta refresh it though, it's out of sync. Ooh, that is a lot. Not that it really matters though. This should be like something on your account though. Say, hey, I play this. Before I actually start playing though, let's check out this. So, no longer on sale. It's always free. It's like, yeah, I probably need more gems that you can give me at the moment. You can see which characters I haven't gotten though because there's no gauge underneath them. Now I know there's also the thing though of costumed characters though that hasn't appeared in any other way though. Now, World does have some of those outfits over there, like Mechanic, Mario, Luigi, and so forth. Though after you meeting certain little requirements, so but considering how many variants, I like how they're all treated as special characters. Maybe I should just switch it to like this again, but I have to edit the thing. But sorry if you can look at that though. All the characters I've collected ever since the game came out though, including some that I didn't have enough gems because I'm not those big spenders, aka whales, though, to throw around extra money though. I just got whatever I was able to get though, but pretty much almost all the basic ones. So a decent amount of the higher ones though. Now here's the thing though I like about two of the characters though. The Super Nintendo Mario and where's the other one at? You can hear like the little sound effect though. And Junior. Now these two are unique, especially to this game though, because they're actually game modifiers. Well, not when I say that, I don't mean they modify something to give you something bonus. They're more like game sound modifiers. When using DK Junior SNES though, or Mario SNES though, they will actually alter the sound effect from the item box and the end game or end track music though to the original Super Nintendo sound effect though. Also, whenever you look in camera mode though and rotate though, they don't have a fully 3D rendered model like everybody else did. Instead, they just basically have the same angles like you would expect to see in the Super Nintendo version, which is six angles there: front side, back side, left side, right side, and kind of in between though. And it's kind of funny in some instances, just like in the Super Nintendo one. It's too bad they didn't make more SNES characters. But there'll be times that you think, oh, they got their hands on the wheel, and you look at it from the front viewpoint, and they're like, yay! I'm thinking, get your hand back on the wheel. But yeah, that's one thing I like about it, though, with the old school modifier, sound modifier. But another thing about the characters, so for those who know that haven't played Tour, is the fact that they each have their own favorite track, depending on certain things though. Like DK Jr. there will be mostly associated with some of the retro style ones that were updated for this game, including games that he never was in though, because I don't remember him being in Luigi Pinball though. And each section though gives you better items though. So for the favorite ones though, you get the best one. Also activate the frenzy, which is the same as getting a Starman there. Invincibility though, but it allows you to use a special upgraded version of the item. So like in this case, the frenzy turtle shells. Well, it acts the same way as typical turtle shells. Surround your carts with them though, but you have unlimited uses of it though, regardless of having only three until the effect wears off though. You always get the invincibility effect though alongside with the frenzy. You can only get the frenzy though if it's that character's favorite track though. And then you get your rank two, I want to call it though, where it's not as great though. You will only get up to about two item boxes max. And then of course you get the ones for anything else though. And as you level up the characters though, they get more benefits there. Like with DK Junior over here though, I only managed to get him like last year, so 2% chance of getting a frenzy ability though. Now the levels apply to nearly everybody though, so they're all going to be around the same thing. By the time you get to level 3 though, you get the ability to unlock two favorite courses though. 4 will activate enhanced version of your ability though. So since DK Junior though likes to throw bananas, so he's got the ability to throw even more bananas. You get to 6 though, you get more favorite tracks though, and then until you get final 8, well, you get your final though. Now, there is Gold Mario in here though. Now, Gold Mario's been in the game almost since the beginning though, but only for the Queen Frenzy, basically a Ruby only feature though, except for if you're able to get special tickets. So, but for the most part, Ruby only. This will allow you to gain coins. So, and using his power of gold magnetism, go figure on that one. He will draw nearly every coin within his radius, though, and it's a pretty big radius, almost as wide as the tracks. So, depending on where you're at on the track, preferably in the middle, you can also just not even touch the control. It'll autoplay, but it'll just be at their discrepancy. Anyways, it will pull in every coin gold, blue, green, blue. Now, however, though, if you notice, though, this is a playable version of Gold Mario, though. Now, it doesn't say on here, though, does it? Actually, it should say down here in the ability, because alongside with his Fire Flower, which in this case, though, allows me, it was already upgraded, so it allows me to throw bigger ones, though, that bounces. I think it was. I'll have to go down here. Probably won't be able to see it very clearly. He has a level 1 ability known as Coin Vacuum, though, pretty much like the Coin Rush one, though. The only problem is, though, is the fact that his range is limited even more so. Instead of being nearly as wide as some of the most tracks, it's actually half that, though. You can still pull in the coins, though, but not every one of them. So if you're on a track, though, that has a decent amount of coins, though, and it's mostly in a cluster in proximity to the middle of the track, though, that's the best time, though. So yeah, I kind of wish they had the level system, though, but they don't. Now, even though there are other gold characters in here, not counting Gold Knight Luigi, though he just wear gold armor, though. But despite the fact that there are other characters are coated in gold, they do not have gold vacuum. They're just gold painted characters. You can also see right here, though, the coin box there with the bonus. Most of the gold characters have the coin box effect. I am going to miss the Mii's in a way, though, because you have to sign up with my Nintendo account there to be able to use them. Okay, so here are the cards. A lot of them are returning cards. Some of them were introduced in there. Oh yeah, before I go to that card, so now here's something though. There was a character in Tour. While technically not the very first time this character was introduced in a Mario Kart game, they were never fully in a Mario Kart game. In fact, they were cut. I'm trying to think in my little brain here. Which one was it? I think it was Mario Kart 64. There was a character before he got the boot and replaced. That character, though, is. It wouldn't have been until Tour until this character was fully introduced as a playable character, though, and was not cut. And I know I have him here somewhere. And, some people might have mistaken it for a female character. I might not be one of those people. Let's see, where are you at? I just passed him. Do I have to put my face to the screen here? Might have to. Let's see here. Definitely the most characters in a Mario Kart game. I say because there are non-games. Here we go. Kamek. Kamek was originally meant to be, I think it was Mario Kart 64 or the SNES version though, but got replaced with Donkey Kong. I think it was okay, it was the first one though with Donkey Kong Jr. There were some people who were digging around in the files though and did notice his character though, but his character never made it out, that far. Tour was the first time Kamek was introduced officially in Mario Kart game though, and later on appeared in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think it was. And so yeah, now I can proceed on with the carts. Now here's all the carts there. I think I got more carts though than characters, including the basic ones though, like the standard. And there's also different variations of some of them with different colors though, and some were locked behind the paywall of the Gold Pass. But Kamek also had his own cart. I want to stare at the screen here and look for it. Which also has a color variation as well. Where are you? I know I have it here somewhere. I don't remember if I got in the year that he came out or after the fact. I also like how they introduced skinny carts though too, like this surfboard wind sailor boy. Some tractors, coconut. Probably have to go slow. Some of these could be like a tuk-tuk. I think that's it. Some of them could be like motorcycles though. I'm sad that I didn't get some of the year-end ones though, or the New Year's one, I should say. Some of these tour carts would eventually make it to deluxe. Okay, there's Kamek's broom as well. If I remember right, though, there was also a Halloween variation, though. And that's another thing, though, is all these tours, though, including the holiday variants of some tracks. Like, for example, recently this past Easter, though, they had some Easter eggs, giant ones and such, that line the track, and some on the track. You get bonus points if you hit the ones on the track, too. Other holiday events, though, would replace some of these with different things. So, like, of course, Halloween would be pumpkins and such. So, okay, that's all the carts that I got. The gliders too. And despite being 8-bit, though, it did not uh, change anything to a retro style, though. Only the two SNES characters. Let's see, back up. Anyway, so the carts have their own unique thing, though. I think only 4 different variations, though, depending on what you might need, though. And just like the characters, though, they do have their quote favorite tracks, though. The favorite tracks will give you more of a bonus multiplier, though, and anything that's not the favorite, though, like this right here, just gives you lesser points. So they also can be leveled up, though. Number 6, though, would unlock a bonus track, though. You can increase the skill up to a max of 8 on most of these. Anyways, though, for example, though, Pipe Frame has the ability of Slipstream, which allows you to get a boost whenever you get past somebody, though. You also have the dash panel, though. Also, the more bonus you can get, though, the longer you can retain certain combos when using certain abilities, though. There's also the jumping bonus. Basically, they all contribute the same effect though. It's just based on how you do it though. Then you get the rocket start though, which it's all right, but to me it just seemed like after you start the track, it's just pretty much it. Let's see what else am I missing. One, two, three, four, five. I thought it was a five. I'm like looking at it, it's like yeah. Oh, here it is. There's also one for mini bonus for the turbo though. But yeah, those are the bonuses for each one of those mixed in, of course. Now we got the gliders. The gliders also have the bonus of using certain attacks more often than the others. So almost every item in the game, almost not the Starman though, almost every one of them has a unique attack, defensive or offensively or whatever. For example, this one has a mushroom though. Basically, just allows you to have a better chance of getting the item though, and so forth though. This one has a blooper. Now, when it comes to blooper on Mario Kart Tour, I think they eventually incorporated in Deluxe and World. But with this one, whenever the blooper attacks you, though, you can use the touchscreen to wipe away the ink if you don't use anything to increase your speed, like a mushroom or speed pad. And the thing is, it won't be some like default wipe animation though. While the ink only lasts for a few seconds, though, you can actually put like a little smiley face before it fades off, though. So it follows your finger direction, though, too, so you can wipe it off, or your thumb if you hold it to landscape. Then you got the multiple shells there. Like I said, anything that increases the thing, though, to make it a plus, so just increases certain things. Okay, one moment here. I had to go check on something here. Okay, keep running down with the abilities, though. Okay, what else am I missing? Okay, there's several other ones, though. Okay, blooper, bananas. Shoots out three bananas, though. Oh, wait, how do you do the blooper? Mega mushroom. Well, does what it does in other games. Red shells, though, basically shoot out, though. The plus one just basically gives you more of them, though. You got the lightning, which is good for getting rid of bloopers, though, too, though. The horn, so fun there. Gotta do some timing, though. Also got the coins, which just surrounds your car with coins. The bombs over there. Some of these items you can also shoot backwards, though, too. Some you can't. Now, Bullet Bill Plus is interesting, though, because while the plus variants of the other items just basically surround your vehicle until the effect wears off, though, which means almost infinite, though, they're mostly just the same item that they can do. Bullet Bill is different, though, because not only will you become the bill form, though, but you also are surrounded by the bombs. not bombs, but other bullets, so which you can use to go after the other characters as well. Fun there. Let's see here. Now there is another type. Now see the ones I don't got though, they won't highlight them. Now there is one that turns yourself into a cannon though that can fire ball bombs there. I think it might have been the bombs. Yeah, so here's all the other ones. I didn't get the hard hat, darn it. Gold ones do not really do much there. You got the original Mario Brothers parafoil. Now you might see a lot of these say new because sometimes the game likes to be weird and might make it seem like you are starting over while retaining other ones. Now I kind of like these though. I only have one of them, but the Hanafuda ones based off the Hanafuda cards. It's probably a website you can look at all these other stuff though. Scroll, ninja scroll. Now you got your tickets though to enhance the points for your characters, also increase the level of your characters and other parts. So you can also increase the point cap. So there's also the coin rush, ticket though. There's also the star ticket, which you can use to unlock tracks faster though because they unlock on a daily basis though. And there's the thing known as quick tickets though. These quick tickets also unlocks the tour though, but it does not unlock the individual tracks in each little mini tour though, which is why you would need the star one. But later on though, they would make it to where you can use those tickets though to change the daily select ones though. So if you got all the stuff you have in this selection for the daily select, so you can use it once per day though to give you a refresh though. Ouch. But only one time. Or if you don't like what they have listed though, then you can do that though. One thing I never really got any farther though was to like the 55 to 60. Darn it. Now, when it first came out, I don't, if I remember right though, there wasn't really much in multiplayer though. And yes, you do go against other players though, so there might be some weird lagging going on in there. Now, the players that you play against though in tour though, that's not in the multiplayer, are basically CPU driven ones. So basically, it's just like this is my car, my character though, but the computer's going to drive for me. Sometimes though, they may have the mannerism of the people who drove them. So if you're doing the battle ones, battle tracks though, they might retain certain things like bombs and bananas. Let's see. Now some shortcuts are still in the tour version though, like the cliff up here. Now the thing is though, the tour does have a gyro motion though, if you don't mind it though. And if you're able to, I know there's some phones that don't have gyro features though. But they also can switch between portrait and landscape though, as well as controls there. Your smart steering though, which was eventually incorporated in Mario Kart 8. There's gyro though. Or you can turn off the music. At least unlike the Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe though, it doesn't have this little RC antenna sticking out of your vehicle though. Now the thing is though, regardless if you turn off smart steering or not though, get an angry banana. I forgot about those. If you hit those giant bananas, if you don't know already though, they turn into mini bananas. The special ability though is just basically more angry little bananas or giant bananas. Now the thing is, when it comes to racetracks on tour though, they've been drastically reduced though. Some there are small tracks, like the smallest one of Baby Park, though. Instead of being like 7 laps, it's only like 5. Except for certain remixes, one where they add ramps and such. Thing is, people can still get bypass the whole naming convention there, though, and name the characters inappropriate. I remember that one year though, I was trying to report that. Oh, we took good care of it. You did? I didn't even tell you or show you a screenshot of the person. I don't know how many people knew this though, but if you hold down on the image of the selected track, you can bring up your prior record though. Now here's the thing though, sometimes the lifetime best might not show your lifetime best. It's basically the record, I guess, set by default though. Now I hear though, of course, I've beaten this before, so that's going to show it though. But ever since they introduced it in 2023, like this though, it's like, oh, it shows me having this though. There were some characters it shows that were used in the record though. I never used because I never owned them. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. If you tap this so you can see how many people though. Originally you could race with your friends though, but like a lot of mobile games though, that people who plays them they'll eventually drift away to other games to play around with. That's a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do there is that since I technically got around almost 2 months. Anyway, since I got all that time though, and right now in unrelated gaming stuff, though, I'm doing some art related stuff for like a art trading thing though, not as art fight though. I'm going to try to do a little bit more of these Mario Kart Tour videos and put that in my listing of Mario Kart videos there. For archival sake though, for people like, that's how that game is. So I'm going to do though is play a few of these tracks. Let's see here. All the ones I didn't get there, like Paper Mario, White Raccoon Mario? White Tanuki, okay. Well, Raccoon Tanukis. It's kind of funny that some of these characters would have power ups you never really think they would have, though. Like, there was like I think it was Fireflower Peach before it came out in the movie. Locked. Okay, still got to level up on that one. Well, yeah, this was introduced shortly after World came out, though. The Titan. There's like different variations of the Titan car, though. Ace Mustache. What was this one again? Oh, yeah, Super Glider. Can I do it? Wait, I saw that. Oh, come on. Yes, the fastest speed is actually locked behind the gold pass, though. But if everybody later on is going to get the gold pass effect, though, I'll probably do that as well, though. The thing is, you probably can barely see it, though. But if you notice, though, each speed gives you a certain amount of max points, though. Well, if you notice, though, that uh, the gold pass for 200 cc's gives the exact same points as the 150 cc, so you're not really missing much on that except for additional speed boost. Now, like I said, there is a camera mode only in auto. So I'm going to do this though. Now, during autoplay though, it's going to play for you though. Every character will be a computerized character under the character's name, not the player's name. You can switch between each person though as well. You can also clip to the world apparently. Whichever character you focus on will actually try to be in first place as well. While this is going on, I'm going to move this a bit. Also, the further you're away from somebody, though, the more they become polygonal. You can also group everybody up, though. So now he's going to be lead. You can also throw some effects. You can also zoom in and out, though. So yeah, I'm not going to race like that. Good thing it's auto. There are also some challenges though, where it's like, just take a picture while in photo mode, cartoon mode. Ooh. Now here's the thing. I'm going to pause this. You can also pause it though. It's very limited though. But you can also do gyro mode, which allows you to do a 360. Hello there. This is me actually wiggling around the camera, for those that didn't know. I feel queasy now. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, the display is like a Dr. Mario type thing. I noticed that. Wait a minute. Oh, back up. Ugh. You could also use this to look at the terrain as well. Well, nothing exciting in the pipe though. Now here's the thing though. The whistle allows you. The whistle allows you to go different formations, which might help if I'm not in a pipe here. So you too can do the conga line over here. There's this one. I'll probably do this several times. So this is like the flying V, I think it was. Oh, bonk. Yeah, I'll have to run you over too. Okay, I'll just do more of this on the other one for now. Yeah, the flying V looking one. So I'll see this one. So everybody get ahead of me, then go back up. Okay, there's a straight line one. As straight as it can be on this. Not a very good example. The diamond form. I win. Yeah, see, there's no player name though. This is all computer names though. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, rotate this. Also, I did a little intro though. This intro on a lot of the tours when I first recorded them. Also, shout out to too during that though. So if you want to see those, those are also on the list as well. You know. Blah, 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 blah. But notice though there is an arrow that's usually showing though. That's for some people who might not be able to steer very good. Like me, even with it. But I can also switch it out though. There's, Frenzy mode. Later on though, they did added this little thing down here in the lower left. So you can switch between the two. If you're mostly one of those that knows how to drift, but might also need to be careful though, you can also do the smaller circle though. Or if I switch it like this, turn this off. Yeah, it does not pause whatsoever. This is why I usually do it this way though, because I'm pretty good drifting, but not all the time, so I just switch it to like this instead. Now you do get the ability though to use one item box ticket per round or match, whatever you want to call it though. Oh, my eye. I guess to be fair though, so you don't be spamming up all these item boxes. Whenever you do in multiplayer though, you do get the ability to use the Starman power up in that one though, but it's not considered a frenzy. Got hair in my mouth. Ugh. So I'm going to do real quick is go back to the drivers. Like I said, each character has their own unique ability as well besides the card. So some make sense, some don't. Like I don't know why Baby Mario's got the boomerang. Triple. Yeah, this one goes double, and I think when it's powered up though, it does the cannon attack. It's like, why does he have giant angry banana? I don't know. Now, also, some beneficial ones can also benefit your opponent as well, though. Like, for example, the dash ring, it will shoot a line along the track of these rings. Not only can you use them, but your opponents can also use them as well, so be careful with that. Fire and ice flowers. Yoshi's egg tends to be kind of a homing missile in a way. Kind of. This definitely becomes a giant homing missile, especially when you upgrade it. Now this is basically a double-edged move. Just like the beneficial one though, this can also hinder you too because you summon two large barrels on either side of your cart to anybody who has that ability though. And the bananas will not always shoot on either side. They will shoot at random, especially if you're in a very loopy track. Especially when it's enhanced. When it's enhanced though, you can also shoot out the larger bananas too though. Like this one though, this enhanced version is the banana one though, the large banana. You cannot fire backwards. It's always forward though. So if you're in a tight spot there, you might do a little slip and sliding of your own. The thing is about the tour game though, while you can turn off the smart drifting and everything else so you won't fall off the map, you can't really fall off the map though. So even if you disable that, you can kind of get off the track a little bit though, but no further than that though. I know in Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe there, if you have the steering on, the smart steering on though, you can barely get off the track, which is, the easy mode though. If you turn it off, you're basically just at the whim of your steering. So if you fly off the track, well, you fly off the track. However, that does not mean you are unable to fly off the track though. Certain tracks are like Neo Bowser City. If you jump off the ramp, you can glide off the track. So yeah. So banana barrels, oh yeah, not very good if you were there. Okay, the cannon is the one that has enhanced bombs there too, because I think that's the one that surrounds it as well. Hammers, though, they're all right. They're not exactly homing hammers though, but they kind of go towards your target in front. You can't really shoot them backwards. The boomerang effect though is pretty good because it hits and grabs coins, both at the same time technically. Birdo's egg is basically just Yoshi's egg, though. The mushroom cannon, especially the enhanced version, which also throws out the giant mushroom, though, can be used by anybody as well. I mean, the effects from said cannon. So it will shoot mushrooms out, though, and whoever lands on them, there you go. The unenhanced version of it, though, shoots like mushrooms in a straight line, while the enhanced version, though, shoots them as this is right here, kind of like an arrow shape, though, so it'll be two on the side and one in front, giving your opponents more chance to get ahead of you. The triple bananas, yeah. Now here we go. The lucky seven, though, it's kind of fun though because it grants you one of each, almost each ability. But the thing is, they go off all at one time. You can't just tap once to activate one item. They're like a banana, and then tap it again. You tap it, they all go off. Unless you get the frenzy to keep going, though. Now, the fun part about the coin box, typically it shoots out the, well, gold coins. And as you can see, the enhanced version does red coins. But here's a little benefit about it, though, as well. Whenever they do a certain team tour, the versus tour or whatever, the enhanced version is also very helpful because during the team face-offs of the versus, though, you would gather additional coins, these team coins. If I remember right, these coin boxes will also shoot out randomly, though, team coins as well. So if you're doing one of those, when it was available, you can also get more that way too. Now, just like the mushrooms and bombs and bananas, though, that anything that comes out of this box is free to grab by anybody. When it comes to team coins, only the team members can see those coins. Because I don't think it shows it as the opposing team, but I would have to use two phones for that one to check it out. And the power of love and friendship, though. The heart basically just makes you immune until it runs out. You're surrounded by hearts there to allow you to take some hits. The cat bell basically allows you to attack within a radius. Same thing with the enhanced version. Oh man, all these costume characters. Though. I'm pretty sure there's a wiki that shows them all though. No, I did show these earlier though, so I just forgot to mention about the individual power-ups. So the doctors, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser though uses little vitamin capsules there, and yeah, they basically bounce around though. They also make the sound effect of the little capsules breaking. Let's see anything else differently. Yeah, each Mii outfit though has a corresponding ability though. Except for blooper one though. I don't know why this don't allow you to summon the blooper squid. That would have been fun. But I think because the blooper squid though is more associated with the carts. That would have been a fun bonus. It wasn't until a few years later though they revamped this up a little bit though because originally it was one of those gotcha type of scenarios where you can spin to activate the pipes, and later on they kind of changed it up though because rules and regulations in other countries say no gambling allowed in games. So while they still have the pipes though, they're no longer use the premium currency. Instead, they use the coins that you can gain within the game itself while on the track. And that's one thing about the coins in Tour. It's because unlike prior games where they use gold coins as a minor speed boost, which I think you only get like 5 or 6 on to give you a little slight push in speed. That was it. Tour, however, said, okay, we'll give you that, but you can also use these to purchase things in the shop. So while the good, cool looking costumes were for the premium rupees, which by the way are the question blocks just made of ruby, they would they would later on revamp it though. So uh, to get certain things out, so yeah, all the gold coins there can be used for the daily select. So and when they revamped the pipes though, they would make it to where you would use the gold coins for that. And as you can see, though, that sometimes they did at the time, though, include at least one gold pipe, though, if it's a special thing going on, though. Most of the times, it'll be just like, let me move this, it'll just be these lower six, though. A typical pipe, the rubies there, you can get up to stacks of 3, 5 times, though, the money up to 5 times as well. Oh, excuse me. Once you buy it all, though, they remain sold out, though, until the next tour starts up, though. Now, one thing about the pipes, though, since you don't have to, since you don't spend premium currency anymore, so no more gambling. It technically is gambling, though, but not with real, I'm going to say money. But the thing is, though, that each time you use these green pipes, you no longer, when they switch it, though, you can no longer get just cards, characters, or gliders. Instead, there's a small chance you can get those, but more likely you'll get tickets and other non-character and card parts too. You can also tease that. And like some gotcha games, though, sometimes randomly though you might get a better pipe, a gold-coated pipe, though, which allows you to have increased chance of getting better quality items, though. And also sometimes you might get a little star to appear, though, which means hey, you got a rare one that came up. Now, if you look right here, boom. Now the cost went up by 10, which means now you got to go collect more more green coins, though. It will increase in amount every time you use it, though. So unless you have no life, then. Now here's the thing. I wish I had a screenshot. I think I took a screenshot, but it's probably on my other device, though. Originally, like some of the free to start games, they were going to use an energy mechanic. For those that don't know or forgot, certain games allow you to play as long as you want, but once the energy is depleted, like a heart system, though, you have to wait till it refills or slip in some 50s in there, though, to allow you to gain some hearts back instead of waiting however long the time is, though. But like Kingdom Hearts Unchained game and other similar games where they did that at first and then they said, no, you want to play it all day? Play it all day. I don't care. The only downside is though with Mario Kart Tour though you can do that. You can do that once they remove the energy element though during beta. But getting experience though does stop for the characters, cards, and gliders. Not your personal one though, which is right here on top. As you can see right here, I'm 151. I'm pretty sure somebody who really has normal life though probably is like 1,000 or whatever. And as you can see, each time you level up, though, your minimum amount of points do go up a little. But yeah, there was no energy cost or anything like that, though, because during beta, though, they did have that. It was like a heart system, though. But I guess they figured, no, don't do that, though, because people keep playing our games as long as they want until the battery depletes or they discover that they are late for work. Now, the funny part is, though, some of these tracks that originally was done in older Mario Kart games, though, had a special, I wouldn't say special though, but special variations to them that was never ever used in tour, but it was clearly can be seen. I don't know if it's in this tour right now. Let me go check it though. I'll have to start spinning tickets here though. I hope it's soon though. Yeah, Piranha Plant site is one of the ones that's currently not available anywhere else at the moment. I say because Mario Kart Tour will eventually, well, not tour though. Well, maybe tour. Eventually we'll have it later though. You know what? Oh no, I have to wait. Oh yeah, I forgot I don't have any though. You can get some of these during multiplayer though. But anyways, one of the Peach's Castle ones though, where you go in the back of a garden. When you first start out, especially in reverse, once again, not to be confused with mirror mode, if you drive the reverse track, aka backwards, there is a small section to the right of the door if you're looking right at the castle doors. I can't remember that. I think it might be called Peach's Garden. It's the one with the chain chomps being free to roam in circles around certain hedges there. Anyways, if you're looking at the castle's doors to the right, there is a clear path. Not because somebody forgot to put some shrubbery in there, which probably is so. But if you have a program that allows you to, look around the map files there of the game, you can see this path actually goes further past the where the barrier of the doorway is, though, to the right, and then makes another turn to the right, though, and it would meet up with the turnoff coming from the fountain that the giant chain chomp roams around. Thing is, I kept wondering though, when it was first introduced in Tour. Like I said, I know it's an old from an older Mario Kart game, but I'm talking about the Tour specifically though. I kept wondering if there's going to be some variation that allows us to race, us referring to the players. Up until now, no. Maybe if you had a way to hack into it, though, yes, but there was none. However, when they introduced tour, the tour variations, though, in 8 Deluxe, they did allow people to race on that side, which is interesting, though, because either they were able to port a lot of the mapping to that and do it, or something, though. So I'm wondering why did you design the map to make it look like you were able to go to that side, but you never opened the side to the tour players, but you did to the 8 Deluxe players. I don't get it though because it would have been perfect for one of the remixes though. I mean, yeah, you would have to block off the area the chain shop roams around that fountain though in the middle, but it should be around the same distance though, because typically though when you're doing the racetrack though, depending on which direction you would face though, it would be the same, should be around the same distance. Hmm. But yeah, there are some tracks though that would have the shortcuts changed or removed. Technically they're present, but you're unable to get it because, like I stated already though, where you can't really jump off the cliff though unless there was like a ramp present though, but certain areas don't have a present ramp. Now I know this show considering I've been playing this in 2019, as I mentioned before. Somebody said, "Oh God, do I really need to listen to that?" Yes. I wish it was like, I wish there was one thing that they could have done though. It's where it's like, okay, I'm gonna just throw in this many tickets though, like a little slider, then hit the button. Now you have to do it one at a time. Okay, time to rotate here. Funk. I think it was like some of the minor little side tracks I could hear that only appears during certain modes of the track. I just like how they just bounce. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, though, they like actually move. The funny thing is, though, some of the tracks that were in a tour from prior Mario Kart ones, though, had a unique thing about them that, when introduced in Deluxe, did not have. Even though they were present in the respective Kart Tour, respective Mario Kart games that they were first introduced. Example: Sunset Wild is known for, well, being daytime until you get to the second lap, in which sunset occurs, and then it just switches the time of day and remains so even until the end of the race. Okay, same thing would happen in Tour though. Time of day changes though once you get to the second lap. Nothing exciting there. So whenever they introduce Sunset Wild onto the Switch version, well, the time of day didn't work exactly like it should. So some people got mildly upset though, because I think it was always perpetually sunset. Another track from a former Mario Kart game. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Wait, did I turn it down? Okay, there it goes. Another Mario Kart returning track for Tour that had some functionality for certain features though that wasn't in Switch Deluxe there was Coconut Mall. For those who play Coconut Mall there, whenever you come at the rear entrance of the mall, there's the parking lot in which some Shy Guys move their carts back and forth. In Tour, these carts will retain their animation moving back and forth. However, when they introduced Coconut Mall to the Switch players for 8 Deluxe, they were parked. They look like they could move, but they don't move at all. You would still have to dodge and weave around them though, but they don't move at all. Maybe they might secretly blink at you, I guess, I don't know. Shy Guys are mysterious like that with their mask. And of course, uh, that was kind of the point. It was supposed to add a little element of, oops, somebody don't know how to drive. Mostly Shy Guys because they got a mask on. So people complain, as expected, understandably in this case though. So Nintendo later on said, okay, we're going to make him move though. And move they did, interestingly. Not the fact they moved, but how they moved. Instead of moving forward and backwards, because apparently they know how to parallel park, they instead did sparkling wheelies. They act like that. It was the first time they were driving and don't know how to park. So that was weird. So Mario Kart Tour did a track correct though, and Deluxe got whatever they got. There was some other little discrepancies between Tour and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well. When I seen that they were introducing some of the Tour tracks to the Deluxe game though, I did kind of wonder how certain tracks would work though, because I'm gonna move this down over here. Because the way certain remix tracks are though, large tracks were broken up into segments, which is why they have like 2, 3, and so forth. Like, for example, I hear Piranha Plant Cove 2, which means this is only one segment of the overall track. Well, I was wondering how they're going to incorporate that into 8 Deluxe. I found out how, and they put up barriers that would only prevent you from going to certain parts of the track once you got to that point, though. Like in the Tokyo track, though, there's several branches, though, but you can only go to one branch of the track, though, at one time. Though. It's not like Yoshi Valley where they have multiple spaghetti tracks, basically. Like when you first start, though, it's like, oh, there's a turn to the left, and then from the left turn, there's like multiple paths you could take. That was interesting, though, on Tour how they did that. They made it the same thing like in the first game, though, but they didn't do that for the Tour tracks, so for the city ones. Jump boost. So by using these barriers that would only take effect though once you get to that point of the track, yeah. So they didn't break up the track into individual little segments like they did on Tour though. Oh, I thought that counted for some reason. It's gotta be jump. Some of these things you gotta do consecutively though, like the bonus ones though. Like when you do like a combos, you have to do that consecutively, otherwise it stops out. Jump, however, doesn't do it consecutively as long as you jump. I know there's some people that's already planning to try to get the character information from Tour so they can put in their mods and such, which I'm surprised in the time that this game's been out they haven't really done. I don't want to fully condone that because Nintendo are known to throw the samurai swords at people who uses the assets illegally. The Nintendo ninjas, as they would say. They're watching you. You might notice that whenever I'm done with a race, though, there's a camera icon on the lower right, though. They incorporate that, I think, about a year after the game came out, though. Because in some Mario Kart games, though, you could let it autoplay. Well, you hit that camera and it will autoplay there, like your victory lap or whatever. You can move the camera around the character, but you can't do anything more than that. See, before World came out, though, going back to the gold coins, I was kind of hoping that they would give the unique purchasing functionalities to the coins instead of the minor boost, but nope. Okay. Now, ever since they revamped this pass system over here, not the gold pass, but this one here, that they introduced the 10 pipe, though. Basically, as long as you get enough stars, though, you can unlock that, though. The thing is, there is a small chance, though, that this pipe will also become a gold pipe, which allows you to have a higher chance of getting those premium characters. Alongside with the small chance of getting a star to increase the rarity of the characters as well. If you see a star flying to your little comet that got shot out, though, you might get your big one like previously mentioned. You can keep tapping the screen if you just want to get it over with. If you max out on the level of characters, though, then it just gives you the equivalent in gold coins, like this. So there are some games that eventually closed down that I wish I could have recorded about, but never did. Oops. Is that it? No, it's still going. Ooh, that's a good one. Is that it? Aha. 2-2. Good lord. And there we go. A lot of the gold characters and cards can only be attained from the gold pass. If I wanted to, I can do this, or I might as well. I mean, what else am I going to use the tickets for? I got 813 tickets, so I mean, what I'm going to do, frame them. Let's see. I'm going all the way over here. I unlocked them all. The last time I done this was like a few years ago. I was trying to comprehend all that. Yeah, I collected the grand stars and just put them in my pocket because you never know what might happen. Let's skip. Here, we give you more star tickets. You can also get some of these in the multiplayer as well. I wish for the pipes so we could do the multiple launcher, but nah. Oh no, I'm losing stability. Maybe because I'm going too fast. I better do it slow because I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, my eyes." But yeah, to get those stars, you just basically just do these tracks. So each track gives you 10 grand stars, though, and the little bonus games, though, gives you at least 3 of them. Okay, before let's see, so I've been an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these others. So a lot of these badges, stickers, whatever you want to call them, I already collected, though. There was one time, though, it didn't give me credit, though, for the rubies, though. And I was unable to prove it, though. I had proof, though, but they's like, no, you got exactly what you needed, though, because according to this one, they get, no. I still got all this, though. These are the more challenging ones, though. Some of them require you to, like, dodge a blue shell. Well, I'm never going to get it, though. I guess one of my streams I can finally get that done. See with those. Now let's show all of them. Ah, so much. Okay, not counting those. I got all these done. Got those done. Now they do have Google Play achievements, though, but once you meet them, there's no point in it. Collect all those. I know there's some of the racetrack badges that will let you come back whenever they do a certain tour. These are just levels. Okay, here we go. Oh boy. Tour records. Now you can always go onto the website, though, to look at your prior skills there. This is what they were talking about. I like it already, don't you? Well, this says it's going to be back, though, so for now. Now, if you want to change the badges, though, here are the badges. Some of them I missed, though, because, oops, I did take like a half a year break, though. These stinking badges. They don't even tell you when you acquire them. That's sad. Some you can get gold and silver variants, so. Okay, it was year 3, though, I took a break on. Now, the silver ones are usually at I'll show it here in a moment, though. But the gold ones are from the gold passes, though, and the red ones from the challenge one. Like, for example, to get this one is the one I just have finished mentioning, where you have to outspeed a shell. Not using invincibility mode there, you have to actually get past it. So that means if you know how to time mushrooms there. Here are the versus badges. See, this is why I thought I was going to get Luigi, though. Man, I shouldn't have picked Luigi because he lost the other time. Kind of sad, though, because there's friends list, though, but the friends abandoned me. And all I could do is, like, here's some coins. You want to hang out? Nah. Zoom, zoom. You should give you, like, a challenge where it's like, give your friends some coins. Why? They didn't give me none back. Now, to be fair, they did play for a bit, though, and it's just stopped. So. What? I was able to gun. Okay, there it goes. Card Pro. Now, the thing is, though, it used to be that that front pipe wasn't there before. Now, here's the thing, though. Whenever you complete all the tracks, so that does give you like a little cutscene where it shows some of the characters you did play the most during the tracks, which by the way you can repeat though. But once you get to the final track, or it doesn't matter which track you actually beat there, but whichever is the final track, not doesn't specifically have to be the final track. It will do this cutscene. And sometimes it might say, "Oh, you use this character the most. You use this item the most." Though, but despite that, though, this will always say coming soon. You don't have to wait a week if you got the quick tickets, though, which means you can unlock this pretty much anytime you're able to, though, if you're able to skip those days. Now, to get the silver badges at the time, you would do this here. If you miss one day, well, you miss your chance. You have to do at least once a day, which is what I was trying to do. As you can see here, though, the final one would be the silver warp pipe badge. Each one will give you a different thing, though. Sometimes it will be a card character or glider, or just a ticket, though. But the last one of the 2 week long tours, so will always be the silver badge, if you're able to get it. Okay, well, like I said, though, I'm going to occasionally do some Mario Kart Tour videos. I just want to get caught up on what's going on after this recording with people frantically trying to curse the skies there because Nintendo's being mean to them. So, like I said, though, that let me just put some of these on autoplay while I'm talking here. I win no matter which character I pick, though. Anyways, no, but anyways, some people were basically doing the equivalent of cursing out Nintendo because they're being so mean. Please remember, though, that any free-to-play game, gotcha games, or whatever, though, will eventually sunset, though. People should have known that this was eventually come whenever they said there was not going to be any more tracks, so it was just only a matter of time, though. There's been some games I've played, though, from the company like called Zynga, though. They have the only... I want to compare it to another game that's rarely been heard called Backyard Monsters, though, but nowadays, if you want to do a comparison, it would be like Clash of Clans, except for ninjas. It was pretty good. That got pulled plug out, though. Zynga also did a card battle game. It was pretty good, especially with the big spenders, aka Wells. And that got pulled. Looking for me a lot of the mobile games, though, or gotcha / free to play games, though. I don't really spend money, though. If I do, it's usually the money I can get from like Google servers or something like that, or use coupons. But even if I say don't get upset at Nintendo, though, people will do it. They always find an excuse. They think, though, oh, because the current ongoing Sony issues, the whole not doing the whole physical thing anymore and such. I think they were able to do this, though, but this probably was timed. Some posts can be set timed on Twitter, not calling it X. But yeah, so I get what they're saying, though, and there's at least one person, though, that keeps saying the same quote of apple oranges. So when people do a comparison, like, oh yeah, that'd be like me go to an arcade, though, for like so many years, and they decide to close down. Should I go and demand them to give me the money they spent on it? Once again, though, even if you think it's the right thing, though, you gotta also think, though, that how are they going to pay the people, maintenance and everything else, though? If you do that, though, then they'll be bankrupt. And you'll probably be like, ha ha ha. But if you do this for everybody, though, every company, then yeah, it's not very good. This is nothing like the whole, well, if I don't under piracy, etc. Because you got to remember that whenever companies do these types of games, though, they have to maintain servers and other things hidden in the background, though, too. They're not saying, ha ha ha, evil laugh, though. Evil cliche anime laugh, especially, though. Because I took those people into playing my games. especially if you've been playing for years. Oh wow, really? Huh, interesting. Okay, think I'll do one more auto one. Oh yeah, because I'm maxed out. But I've seen some people there only complaining about wanting the full refunds, like I mentioned earlier in this video, though too, though. But they gotta understand how these things work. And even if you try to convince them, though, why things are the way they are, it's just they're just like these people who stick their fingers in their ear and go, blah blah blah, I can't hear you. So yeah, games, online games are not gonna last forever, though. You're not gonna get your money back unless it's a very specific reason, like they scammed you somehow. One person puts it this way, though. I played Blizzard games on, I think it might be referring to World of Warcraft, for about 20 years, so should I demand them to give me all the money that I spent on there? Well, first of all, that's a bad example, because if you're thinking about World of Warcraft, though, that, as of this recording, is currently active, so that's not going to be an effective thing. That's why I use the examples there of like maybe like your favorite fast food joint or a place that you really like going to and throwing money at them to keep their business afloat, though. Then complaining about needing all the money, though, because they're closing down, though. That's a little bit better example. But no matter how you try to explain to people, though, they will always be upset at themselves. So, okay. See, Sunset Wild over here, though, did change. So this is one of the tracks I was talking about that had it some always sunset, I think it was, or always nighttime. It was always the same time of day, regardless of how many laps you did on 8 Deluxe. Click. Oh, I didn't do it though. Screenshot. There was a challenge though. Sometimes it's like do a screenshot of 3 different people jumping up. Okay, let's try this again. Ah. Nope, that didn't count. Second this. Maybe this might work. Nope. I guess it has to be gliding. Might not even be active. Okay, well, like I said, I gotta get some stuff done, especially on the art-related side of things, though. Uh, Later on with the Mario Kart ones, I'm not gonna be talking too much of the same subject, though. So if you want to know what I said about, though, you can always rewind it, though. It's not like I say the secret code is in like about 45 minutes ago. Okay, so I think the next time I might be doing this, though. Let's see, today is Wednesday, as indicated in the clock left screen. So I'll probably do this tomorrow and or Saturday. So yeah. If you like what you're seeing, though, and such, you're more than welcome to follow me on Twitch, though. It should be in the information section of my YouTube information, though. Or subscribe to me on YouTube, though, where I do have random videos of, well, me playing various games. Mostly will be Pokemon Go whenever Community Day comes up, though, or the Trading Card Pocket, though. I do plan to change things up a little bit, though, later on. Not exactly one of those game YouTubers there where it's like they have a specific thing, though, like maybe play different types of games, or have a series and such. I tried to do that with my Minecraft series, though. Took an extended break, though. Anyways, if you want to see videos from tours I did do, though, there is the playlist I've done including the occasional videos of me just playing Mario Kart Tour in general. I may or may not have a window right here showing it though, somewhere in this video near the end. But you're welcome to see that though and see how those were when it came out. Because I don't know how many more of these tracks are going to come out. Because apparently I can't count though. But what I meant to say, I don't know which all tour tracks are going to be coming out from this, from the next tour on until it closes down though. So be sure, if you haven't played it though, go and play for it though, especially since next month in August though, everybody's getting the gold VIP treatment though. But once again though, don't be fully upset about this though, because this was bound to happen. You might get upset though, but that's how these things work. In the meantime, usually I end off with look at my profile, but I don't think anybody wants to see that. Usually have some kind of avatar representing my character though, but my only avatar representing a character will be my little me, and that's not on that screen, is it? Nope. I'll just do it that way. Look how special I is. Also, my cable's tangled up with my device. Let me move over here. My chair's too close. But yeah, if you want to look at the prior ones, if there should be the playlist of Mario Kart Tour, they should be in some kind of order. Hopefully, in order of when the tours first came out. And I'll be back later this week, though, with some more of this, though, with less of the nonsense I previously mentioned about, though. If you want to look at it, you can rewind this video and hear what I have to say about it, though. That is all for now. It's already been almost an hour. It is now an hour and 47-ish. There it goes. It's now been an hour and 47 since I played it, so usually I do hour-long videos, though, because you never know when somebody might fast forward, though. I might be a secret code. That is all for now, though. Thanks for watching, and be back next time with something game-related. Might be this. That is all. Later. 3, 2, and 1. Bye-bye.